Is everybody in? Is everybody in? The show is about to begin.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Concerts That Made Us. I'm your host Brian, and before we get into this week's episode, as always, we've a couple of things to get through. The answer to last week's music trivia question was, of course, the Beatles. And for this week's music trivia question, how did Led Zeppelin come up with the title of Black Dog? Tune in next week to find out. And we've got another 5-star review. 5 stars. Obsessed. With a little emoji blowing a kiss. This was left by Ricardo Romney on iTunes. And don't forget, if you leave a 5-star review, it will be read out on the show. Now, enough of all that. The reason you all came here. This week's episode is a fantastic one. My guest is Kat, a South African multi-instrumentalist, multi-genre musician. This is a really interesting listen. I know you're going to love it. So, without further ado, let's get on with the show. Hi Kat, you're very welcome to Concerts That Made Us.
Hi, nice to meet you.
You too. So how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing all good, thanks. It's a beautiful day here in Cape Town, so I know it's very different to where you are currently.
Yeah, just a bit. We're going through a lot of storms at the moment, but it is the time of year for it.
Crazy.
So, very exciting times. You recently released your song Wolves. Would you like to tell us a bit about it?
Sure, thanks. It's I wrote it with my fellow musician Mark Hayes here in Cape Town. He's moved into the producing world. He still performs live, but he's more of a producer now. And we wrote it together. I came up with a riff on my cigar box guitar, which is like literally a cigar box and a plank of wood and 3 strings. And you play it with a slide, and it's like proper, Mississippi blues kind of a sound. So, and I was in a mood of just empowerment. I'm done taking anyone's bull, I'm just like be your own superhero kind of thing. So, wrote the song, and it's there for anyone to feel empowered, to get strong, to get in or out of a situation. That's kind of the message I want to promote with that song.
Yeah. First of all, you mentioned the guitar. That is one of the most unusual looking guitars I've seen. It stood out at me straight away. It's very interesting. How did you come across a guitar like that?
Well, initially, so I basically get all my musical taste from my dad, and he became a fan of a woman named Samantha Fish. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's an American. She's rocking the blues scene. She's amazing. And in part of her act is the cigar box guitar. And when he sent me like clips of her, I thought, no, I have to get one of these. So there's a man in Johannesburg named Roy Jones who makes them, but he makes guitars out of anything. He's made guitars out of shovels, out of bowls, you name it, he can make a guitar out of it. So I contacted him, and he made me this beautiful guitar. Yeah,
brilliant,
pretty cool.
And making guitars out of shovels and bowls and the likes, does it affect how the guitar sounds? Would it be as good as, say, a Les Paul or a Stratocaster?
Oh, well, no, of course not. You don't have the flexibility to do what a Stratocaster or all those kind of things could do, but you get that authentic old school blues down and dirty kind of sound, which is just, it's just as good in its own way.
Yeah. And the song, I've been listening to it nonstop the last couple of days, and It's real. You're right. It's really empowering. It's one of them songs you put it on, and I feel like it's the perfect song to listen to in the morning because you're ready to take on the world after listening to it. You know?
Thank you so much. That was very much the point, and that was also the point with the video. We wanted to create a story that was something very strong, something current, and something that many people may have gone through but don't speak about. And it was something to, give you that empowerment to do something about your situation.
And the video is epic, by the way. What was it like shooting that?
Well, so the video is half narrative and half live performance. It was amazing. I got up at 4 a.m, drove out to a farm and performed with a real wolf. And in that video, when you see me walking towards the camera, like I have chunks of raw meat in my hands so that the wolf would follow me. It was really, really gross.
I'd say so.
Yeah, but no, it was an amazing experience.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So we'll get a bit of taste of your history now. So can you remember your introduction to music or your first musical memories?
Yeah, it started when I was in my mother's womb. My dad would play me Guns N' Roses and all that kind of stuff. So I was listening to rock before I was even born.
Right.
My dad is very much, he was a music fan, still is to this day. And so he would always play me, all the rock classics and teach me the words and everything. And then from my mother's side, she was a dancer. So I got introduced to theater through her. And, so I developed a love of music, but in so many different genres. And then I guess something about it made me fall in love with it. And I grew up traveling a lot. I grew up in Asia as well. So there, you're pushed to develop as many skills as possible, and then you see what sticks. And so luckily I was exposed to guitar, piano, dance, everything from a very young age. And I just luckily took to it. And all I can remember my whole life is making music, playing instruments, being in shows. That's just what's always stuck with me.
Yeah. Asia must have been interesting. I imagine the music scene over there is very different from, the Western countries.
I grew up in Hong Kong, so Hong Kong is very multicultural in itself. So you have a little bit of absolutely everything. It's like it's a multicultural buffet, if you want to call it that. So you're exposed to so much.
Yeah. And what were the first steps you took towards becoming a musician then? Was it in school, forming bands? Was there a scene for like-minded people?
Definitely bands in school was a thing. I grew up in the emo era, so everyone wanted to be cool in a band and wear your black eyeliner and all of that. So definitely that. But like I said, my grounding was in theater, which I'm grateful for because it did teach me to sing properly without getting injured and like learning techniques so that I've been able to have my voice last me, or, been able to push my voice out when I haven't been that well or anything. So I'm very grateful for that grounding. And it also, I think, taught me a lot of discipline and hard work.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Now, I guess from an early age, it was kind of always on the cards, or it was obvious you were going to be a singer or musician as you got older.
Well, I'm a Leo, so it always has to be about me.
I'm actually a Leo myself, so I fully understand.
You get it.
Yeah. And after school, then what steps did you take to making it a career?
My life's been very different roads basically. So throughout school I was learning all the instruments, but at the same time I was in a lot of theater productions. And then after school I went to theater school, but in theater schools where I fell completely out of love with theater and fell way more in love with rock. And so then I formed a few bands and I traveled overseas, and I luckily got a job in Hong Kong performing at the beer garden at the race course for like 20,000 people a night. So that was so much fun. And that taught me that was a growing up experience. Like, you're thrown into the situation, you're like, right, I have to be a pro now. I have to be good now. So that taught me a lot. And then lockdown happened, and so performing with a band wasn't really a viable option, and I was here in South Africa at the time. So I thought, I've watched people who loop over the years, and I thought, let me give this a try and just see if I can do it all myself. And luckily, I bought some very cheap looping equipment and tried it out. And actually, I took to it, and I was creating some really cool stuff. And then suddenly, I got booked for shows. And then I upgraded my gear, and now this is what I do. I create these loops and things and sing over it, and it's a whole load of fun.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of the videos you put up on YouTube. Actually, you really do look like you're enjoying yourself.
Well, yeah, no, I truly love it. And I mean, it's empowering in itself that it's all me now. I create everything, which is also terrifying, because if there's a screw up, it's my fault. I can't just, look at the bass player and pull a face.
Yeah.
It's all on me. But at the same time, that makes it empowering. And, I get to just do what I like, which is a dream.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your creative process like when you're making music?
Well, so when it comes to writing, so like when I wrote, because I've done a series of like 5 songs with Mark, with that, it was all different. Like I said, Wolves came from just playing around in my cigar box, and I was in a certain mood, and the song just happened. With like more emotional stuff, like generally if I'm feeling emotional, I'll go sit at the piano and something will just come out. I mean, if you get a little bit spiritual about it, I think songs they all exist. They're all around us. And it just in that moment, whichever song you channel is, and whatever instrument you're playing at the time, it just happens. But when it comes to the looping, I'll generally pick a cover and then completely tear it apart down to its bare bones and try and recreate it, but with my own flair and flavor. And I like taking like the older blues songs and making them danceable now,
Is there a go-to song that you like to cover?
Oh, there's lots of them. As well, I've just put on YouTube "Satisfaction," which is a lot of fun. I've done like my own version of "Satisfaction" by the Rolling Stones. Yeah, that. I love playing my cigar box. I do "Shake 'Em On Down." "Evil" by Howlin' Wolf. I do it on my diddley bow, which is kind of like a cigar box, but it's just one string. Right. So yeah, I love doing the old blues stuff very much.
And being a multi-instrumentalist, I'm always intrigued by this. Is there an instrument that you're most comfortable with?
Definitely the bass guitar, but that's purely because I spent like 2 or 3 years, and like I was professionally being a bass player for lots of different people and lots of different things. So I just became very attached to my bass through that.
Yeah, yeah. And how does it compare being a solo artist to being in bands?
It's so much easier. Like when there's a booking, you don't have to phone all 4 other members and be like, can you make this day? And making arrangements, like that headache is gone, which is beautiful. But like I said, it is more scary. You only have yourself and technology to rely on. So it just takes more practice and more patience and organization.
Yeah, yeah. The scariest part in that sentence was technology to rely on.
Yes, because sometimes technology is just like, no, I won't. Exactly. There's nothing you can do. Yeah. This one gig I did, I was doing a looping cover, and I noticed because I use Ableton, on the screen, all like my samples just moved to different parts.
Oh my God.
And everything just moved, and I was like, oh my God, what do I have to? So I had to reboot the system, but like while it was still playing, because it was like a big concert, it was that was a terrifying experience. Yeah.
I could imagine.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Do you remember your very first gig or concert?
Well, yeah, like, I mean, I've been on stage since I was like 6 years old. So like I said, in the theater, but when it comes to just playing guitar, yeah, it was I always start at the open mic nights. That's where you meet musicians. That's where you start getting your gigs. And yeah, it was some open mic night out somewhere where they were reading poetry and doing comedy, and it was a whole wealth of things. And I got up there with my acoustic guitar, and I think I just spoke really fast and played all my songs really fast and got back off. Like I was very nervous back in those days.
Yeah. You tend to be for your very first gig, but once you started playing, I notice a lot of musicians say that once they start playing, they feel very comfortable on the stage, and so some people actually say that they're most comfortable when they're on stage. And when you're in your early days, that's a very hard thing to imagine, that you would get that comfortable and enjoy being on stage so much.
I can remember one gig where like I thought I'm just going to stand here and sing, and then I thought actually like what's the point to that? Rather create a persona, create this character, show people who you are, or at least what you want to be, and make something entertaining. And that was like a turning point for me, where I decided to like really come out of my shell and be the performer.
Yeah.
But it does take time, and I think it takes, like anything, experience and practice.
Exactly. And it's one of them things, I think, you could never call yourself a master, really, because you're always evolving as a musician,
Exactly. You're always a student.
Exactly.
The one thing I wish would change in the music scene is that musicians, we really should not only support each other, but also learn from each other, because everyone's got a skill that you possibly don't have. And I just think we should be trying to learn from each other as opposed to competing sometimes.
That's a good point, actually. It's a very good point, especially nowadays with the way the music industry is. It's so cutthroat, and then it's like it's really not in the musician's favor.
No. Yeah.
And with Spotify and all the big companies, the musician gets very little for the work they put in. So that's a very good point. If more musicians were there for each other as a community, it'd be a lot better.
100%, especially when it comes to, getting paid for gigs and stuff, like if we all, set a standard of what you want to get paid, then it could be a viable career path and you wouldn't need a day job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And how have you found the local music scene or music industry in South Africa?
You know what, like I said, like I grew up in Hong Kong, and the music scene there, it almost isn't really a scene because it's so diverse. There's so much going on. There isn't a specific flavor, whereas with South Africa, there's very much a style and a flavor, I find. Like there are some things that are, you can tell that that's a South African artist, which is a beautiful thing. I think that's really cool that they've created a style and a vibe. But then again, we are, multicultural. There's many different nationalities and stuff here. So there is difference between each act. But I honestly have found the scene really friendly and just enjoyable to be around. I do like the scene here very much.
And you've performed overseas as well. Not only in Hong Kong, but the United Kingdom as well. How did you find England as a place to perform?
It was. Like I said, my life split in two parts. There's the theatre days and then the live music. But when it comes to the live music, it was pub gigs. It's quite arrogant how I did it. My cousin worked at a pub, and I snuck behind the bar, and I had like a little demo, and I just played that on the speaker system in the pub and like blared it, and like anyone who like would listen, I was like, this is my song, guys, this is my song, okay? And luckily there was a musician in the bar that night and said to me, actually, this is quite cool, will you open for us? So, it was in some little town, I think called Grantham. And so I followed that band around for like the time that they were touring around that little area and opened for them. So that was quite fun. But the audience in England, I don't know if it's the same nowadays, but I found everyone had an opinion and wanted to like critique me and tell me what I did right and what I did wrong. But I guess you get that. Well, you get that all over the world, but it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah. Geez, that sounds like a tough crowd to play it after all want to tell you what's right and what's wrong.
I know, but at the same time, they're all there to have a good time, and they all like going out and having their beer and stuff. So, and the more you drink, the better I sound. So it wasn't too bad.
I've never heard it put like that before. Oh man. So who would you say has been your greatest teacher or mentor throughout your career?
Wow. There's been many, as in people I've actually met. Definitely my producer now, Mark Hayes. has guided me in so many ways regarding like just how to handle myself as a musician, what to do at a gig, just the time and the care that he's taken with me with small things is just unbelievable. And also, like when it came to writing the songs and producing them, he asked the questions, why this song? What is the reason? What little, secret things can we put in that you'd only hear on like, the 8th or 9th time you listen to the song? So I really appreciate that. But yeah, just learning from the things he's been through was very, very instrumental and important to this current time I'm in my life. Yeah, so I suppose him. And then again, I know it's not a musician, but definitely my dad. He's one of like the top jockeys in the world. And I've definitely learned my hard work and determination from him. He always said when he was going for the championships, he put his head down, he decided that's what he's doing and no one's getting in his way. And I've definitely taken that mentality on.
Yeah. Did he ever have any aspirations for you to follow his footsteps instead of music?
100%. He always says that I would have been an incredible jockey with my attitude, but nah, not for me. I love my food and my bourbon way too much to diet and all of that.
True. You have to be very strict when you're a jockey.
Yeah.
So where's been your favorite place to play live? I know it's hard to pick one, but if you had to pick one or maybe two, to be fair. Look, Japan was incredible because everyone in Japan is incredible at what they do. They take so much care, whatever it is that they've chosen to do, they'll do it incredibly well. Down to a McDonald's worker to an engineer. You take pride in what you do. So there I was in a music bar and I was surrounded by musicians. So that was intimidating. And again, I felt like it helped me level up because I had to be like, right, now you need to actually focus and be really damn good. Yeah. So I got a lot of satisfaction out of that performance and performing there. And again, just gaining the respect and connecting with those musicians was really cool. But I must say, definitely, yeah, performing, like I said, in Hong Kong at the racecourse was a massive ball. That was just so much fun. But no, to me, any gig is a joy for me. Like, even if there's 2 people there, then I'm like, okay, cool. I'm just going to enjoy my vibe and enjoy this. But if there's more people there and they want to get up and dance, then I'm happy to entertain them. For me, I'm just, as long as I'm doing the music, I'm having fun. Yeah. And I was just going to ask, do you prefer larger crowds or a more intimate setting?
Of course, larger crowds. Of course. That's way more fun.
Really?
Yeah. No, I can't perform in front of one person. Like sometimes, like, if my mom came and asked me to sing something, for her, I can't. I start shaking and sweating. Like I can't do it for one person. Oh. Yeah.
Geez, that's not something I hear often now. Mostly I hear people prefer the smaller crowds because they can see the people's faces and stuff like that. But I've always thought to myself, would you not prefer the bigger crowds because it's more energy, seems more fun performing to more people,
100%. It is more fun. And then you have more, I'm going to say the word control. I don't mean it in a nasty way. I just mean you can then decide on the vibe. And if, in a bigger environment, more people are going to follow and do, if, say like raise your hand or whatever. If, 10 people will do it and then 20 people and then 30 people, more people are likely to do it. And then you can play with the crowd more and just have so much more fun. A big crowd is, for me, always way better. People lose their inhibitions in when they're lost in a big crowd, so they're more willing to go crazy.
I was just going to say it. Even as a concert goer or a gig goer, I prefer larger crowds than a smaller, more intimate setting,
Well, who wants to be that one person going, woo, and then they all look at you like, yeah.
Yeah. The fear of being the only person that claps or makes a sound.
Yeah, I know. It's quite awkward. So my boyfriend is my sound engineer currently. And if we're doing a gig and there's only like 3 people there and they don't clap, he goes like, whoa, and it's just very awkward. But yeah.
So if you had if you had to pick one, then is there a worst performance you've had or a worst experience at a gig you've had?
Um, very, very good question. Look, I mean, there's been times where my the technology hasn't worked for me, and that's been annoying and upsetting. What's even more annoying is when it's not working, but it's because you haven't pushed a certain button that you've forgotten to push, like that. Then you can only blame yourself. But it's more about how I've been treated that it sticks out. Like I've done some gigs where I'll sing it at some sort of restaurant, and then the restaurant manager comes and wants to give me a lecture on how to perform. And I'm like, honey, really? But you got to just smile and take it and move on and just go, right, I'm not performing there again. But yeah, it's more about when certain managers or venues treat you like your dirt or that then leaves a sour taste in my mouth more than if I were to mess up, because I've done so many gigs in my life. I've messed up 100 times, but like by now it's nothing to me. It's just like, okay, that was something new, keeps you on your toes.
Yeah. Jeez, I can't believe the restaurant manager though. You should have turned around and started telling him how to run the restaurant.
Yeah, no, everyone's a director,
Yeah, true.
But it's all good. It's all good.
This is a bit of a tough one now. What does it mean to you to be a musician? What do you want to achieve or hope to achieve through your music?
That's an awesome question. I am fully committed to serving the music. I'm more interested in serving the song the best that I can, serving the song that I write or cover or anything, and doing things that make sense for the song to make it an enjoyable experience for someone to dance to, listen to, have an emotional experience with, whatever it is that you do while you're listening to it. Do everything that makes sense for the song. Like, I do not understand when someone wants to play some sort of shredding, insane solo for no reason. Everything in my book has to have like a reason why you're going to do it. And yeah, I am completely and committed to serving the music. And I think that's what being a musician, it means to me.
Yeah, that's the perfect answer.
Oh, thanks. And I mean, it's like with my song Wolves, I chose that cigar box guitar because it's that raw, rough, I'm not taking shit from you kind of a sound. And that was the energy of the song. So that's why it matched that instrument so beautifully. And that was, the reason for it.
Oh, it came together perfectly.
Yeah, it did. It really did.
Is there any more music on the cards for the near future?
Yes, hopefully next month I'll be releasing my follow-up single. It's called Halloween. It's a ballad. It's all piano-y and it's like pop, and it's just like some sort of sad love song. But there's a lot more to it. It's about longing, about something that might never come. So that's going to be my follow-up. We're busy working on the video for it now and all the stuff to do with the release. So I'm quite excited for that one because it's a completely different direction to Wolves.
I was just going to say, it sounds like a stark contrast to Wolves.
That's what we've done with the series of songs we've recorded. All of them are quite different. And again, which might sound like not usual, but I've been able to create a persona for myself that's the common theme throughout my music. And then my music can be multi-genre, Also, just to show that I can do all these things, if you come to a show of mine, there's going to be something for everyone. From if you're age, 68, or if you're just 8, I'll be able to you'll enjoy something.
Yeah. I really like that. I have to say that it can't just be put into the one box,
Well, it makes people uncomfortable if they can't put you in a box. They're like, wait, I don't know what to do. They get quite they do tend to get quite nervous about it. But yeah, like I said, I've lived such a life with so many different things and places. I couldn't not be multi-genre.
You seem like the type of person that likes to keep people on their feet.
Oh, yes. Oh, most definitely. Love to surprise you and definitely keep you on your feet for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to approach your career, though, especially a music career, so people never know what to expect next.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, especially this day and age, gosh, it's tiring. You know, you have to be constantly on social media, on all these platforms, and making something new, and it's got to be interesting and different and good quality. So, yeah, you have to have that personality and that drive.
You actually mentioned something interesting there, the social media aspect of being in the music industry nowadays. How do you approach it? Because it's so different from the way it was years ago, you know?
Yeah. What I did was I created a team of people that got the vision, got the idea, and were motivated. So I work with, so I have a creative partner. His name is Josh Heltzinger, and he's a photographer by trade, but just an incredible creative is all you can call him. We like have sessions where we'll sit, look at the song, and then create the whole marketing campaign behind it, create the video, everything, try and come up with clever, different things. So like for Wolves, we had the big photo shoot campaign, and then like the whole 9 grid thing. We had the little videos that gave you little secret clips and like little intros to my life and everything. So yeah, you've got to create something different, interesting, keep the people engaged, but at the same time be on trend with social media. So that's why I work with people. That's why I have people helping me do it, because like I don't have the time to sit and like, scroll through reels and TikTok and all of that, do what you do best and let others do the rest. So I think you need to ask for help sometimes.
That's a very good motto, actually, because like you'd never be able to write all the music, handle the business side and be scrolling through TikTok and Instagram, stuff like that, trying to keep on top of the current trends. It's near impossible. It's almost like if you didn't have the team of people, it's like it's stacked against you. You know what I mean?
Completely. It's absolutely completely. And then at the end of the day, then it's like throwing spaghetti at a wall. You never know what's going to stick. You never know what people are going to like or hate or just not care about. It's not the wisest career choice. I'll put it that way.
yeah. But it's probably one of the most meaningful or rewarding,
Definitely. Oh, definitely. 100%, especially when you've written something, I keep bringing it back to Wolves. There was a girl who came up to me and said the strength in that video and song. She said, because she was in an abusive situation at some point, and she said she wished she could have developed that strength at that time and gotten out, and that's watching the video like helped her come to terms with what she'd been through and that it was okay. And, and that meant the world to me, that she had connected with my story, connected with what I wanted to say, and that it had actually helped her transform,
Yeah. Geez, that must have been so rewarding though, to hear that from someone that heard your song.
Exactly.
I feel like that's what music is all about, making music at least. It's about helping people or changing someone's lives, even in the smallest way, or making it so they can deal with something in their past.
100%. Exactly. I mean, everyone's got a breakup song that helped them through a breakup, right?
True.
Everyone's got a song for something, for some good experience or for some bad experience. And it's music is just amazing. It's amazing that it's that for us. I think it's the most beautiful thing that mankind has ever created is music.
Yeah, exactly. I'd hate to imagine a world with no music.
No. I'll go to space. No, don't. No.
Yeah. Jeez. It'd be a very boring place.
It would be, most definitely. Music brings people together,
Exactly. So say when you're having a tough day or a rough day, or you want to be inspired, who do you listen to?
So my comfort and my everything is Freddie King, the blues man. I just love his music. I find his voice so soothing and beautiful. I love the comedy that like almost every song of his is, this woman's hurt me. It's fine. I'll just go eat. Because he was like a very obese man. But it's more the tone and the warmth behind his music is what I really, really enjoy. And what sits with me to get inspired. There's a chick called Kavehi. She's Hawaiian. She's amazing. She does what I do, the whole looping thing with Ableton. So generally, if I'm feeling like demotivated and like, I can't be bothered, I'll watch one of her videos and I'll be like, no, she's going, I can go too. And then that'll like get me revved up to do something. but yeah, otherwise, yeah, like I said, I am multi-genre, but a good rock song, like I'm very addicted to the Pretty Reckless. I love their stuff. So I'll listen to like a hard-hitting rock song, and then I'm back on it.
Yeah, yeah. Rock always tends to do that for you.
Yeah, it would.
I know you're multi-genre, but is there a genre you find yourself kind of gravitating towards more than the rest? Would it be rock?
Rock and blues, 100%. That's my home. I identify as an old blues man, so definitely that's 100%. 100%. That's my thing.
Yeah, yeah. And your career to date, then, was there a point, or what was the point when you felt like all the hard work was starting to pay off?
Oh, uh, so interesting question. I guess when I got to perform on Espresso, which is like our morning TV show, everyone's got a morning show. When I got on there, I was like, wow, okay. And also I get nervous before something. When I'm doing it, I'm not nervous though. But I prepped so hard for that, because who wants to screw up on live TV,
Yeah.
So I'd worked super hard. I prepared, got there, and it had gone incredibly well. There wasn't one screw up. Everything flowed so beautifully. The whole experience was just wonderful. At that experience, after that TV show, after I walked out of the studio, I was like, okay, all the preparation and the hard work, that's paid off for sure. But I mean, also just the attention that Wolves got, seeing it on Spotify, seeing people sharing the music video, all of that, that also was like, okay, all those long meetings we had and the preparation and, trekking out to take those photos on like the desert heat and everything, it all did pay off when you see people enjoying it.
Yeah, yeah. The morning breakfast show, I seen the video you have on YouTube. It looked like an absolute highlight. But there was one thing that kept going through my mind. What was it like performing that early in the morning? Because personally, I'm not a morning person, so I can barely I don't know, form a sentence early in the morning, let alone sing a song on national TV.
Yeah. Luckily I have a little assistant she's my little fairy. She comes and wakes me up and everything, so she was helping me. I couldn't do anything without her, so thank goodness for her. But no, you get there. I think, the people who work there, they're all really high energy people. So if that's around you, then you can't help but soak it in. And I guess I was excited as well. So it was fine. But yeah, it's never an easy feat singing that early in the morning. It's really not.
So.
Nah.
Yeah. Well, you seem to totally own it anyway.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. It really was.
What's the plan for the future? A year, 2 years down the line, once the pandemic and everything has totally disappeared, where would you like to see your career going?
World domination.
Good answer.
Look, I mean, yeah, it's so hard to say because of everything that's gone on and going on, and who knows what these with the changes to the world, we know nothing. We don't know what's next. What I can tell you is currently I'm planning to tour South Africa as best that I can. Which again is fun because it's just me. So just load all my gear in my car and just go, which I'm really, really excited to do. But yeah, I mean, gosh, big dreams. But I do believe, shoot for the stars and at least you'll reach the moon. I want to obviously tour internationally. I want to go back to Asia, go back to Europe, UK, all of that, perform wherever I can. And just keep on making music. If I can just keep making music and performing it live, I'm a happy girl.
Yeah, that's the main thing anyway. As long as the music makes you happy, And what's it like currently, the music scene in South Africa with the pandemic? Is it after totally easing or?
When this all happened, I was so before I was living in Hong Kong, but my dog was here in Cape Town. So I'd
Right.
fly back every few months to go and see him. And then I'd flown back to see him. And then the lockdown happened, flights got cancelled, and I couldn't get back into Hong Kong. And I was so happy because South Africa really tried to keep the music scene going, which I was so grateful for. I mean, I was happy I wasn't in Hong Kong because they actually banned live music for a year.
Yeah.
So that
We actually
was,
did two over here. I think it was
did
nearly
you?
2 years. Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So I was just so grateful that South Africa kept it going. The gigs did not stop. I mean, there was that month where we were proper lockdown, but other than that, the gigs kept happening. We've all been able to keep performing. So I'm so grateful to South Africa and the venue owners here and the scene here for keeping it going, because it was very instrumental as to where I am now. As for now, I honestly think we've all got COVID fatigue, no offense to anybody, but we're all just kind of so over it. Like, oh my gosh, you just want life to go back to normal, and going to a
Yeah.
music gig and having a beer and watching live music and dancing. I mean, that's the one thing that can make you feel normal again. So it's something we all seriously do seem to enjoy.
From the point of view of crowds going to concerts and gigs, are they embracing the music? Are they embracing the ability of being able to go to a gig? Or are they a little cagey?
Oh no, no, you can still see you can still see that they are nervous, and you can still see as well that the crowds are not as big as they used to be.
Mm.
Obviously, everyone second guesses, or they've interacted someone with COVID or whatever. So it's never as big as it used to be. But after everyone's had a glass of wine or two, then they forget, and then the masks come up, and then they dance and everything. But no, of course, it's not what it used to be.
Yeah, that's a kind of it's probably one of the saddest things about the to come out of the pandemic, you know?
It truly, truly is. And I mean, and then people always say, oh, but then do a live stream concert. To get good sound with that is really a challenge. So, and it's also just not the same. So yeah, it has been an interesting, challenging time, and it's sad that music has suffered because of it.
Mm.
But at the same time, what we are noticing is now venues are giving chances to people that maybe they didn't give chances to perform, because the bigger acts now won't do a small venue, or they've gone somewhere else. And so it has, in a way, opened the door for us new people to come in and start performing in certain venues. So that is the one positive thing I can say.
That's really good actually. Over
Yeah.
here it's the music industry is still sort of just trying to pick itself back up. Just before Christmas it was announced that concerts and everything could happen, but I think there was limited numbers. Now
Yes.
they can go straight ahead, but I know a lot of big concerts that were planned for this year. I'd say 5 or 6 of the bigger ones have been cancelled already, which is a bit kind of,
Oh.
because you're like, yes, it's getting back to normal. I can
Mm.
go to every concert throughout the year that there is, and then it's like a kind of sideswipe. So you're not expecting them to be cancelled this year.
Mm. I mean, every big act that I follow, they're like, hey guys, we're going on tour. And then a few weeks later, you see tour postponed,
Yeah,
because there's a change or something. But I mean, I have seen that they are putting on some amazing festivals, and I really hope that they happen,
yeah.
you know, really,
Fingers
really hope.
crossed. Anyway, I think
Yeah.
a festival really makes summer for us over here anyway, because that's our festival season. And I feel like it's intertwined with when I think of summer, I get the summer feeling. I think of a festival.
Oh, definitely. There's nothing
Yeah,
like it. There's just nothing else like it.
yeah, exactly.
Gosh, yes. We hope that it'll go back to normal, that we'll be able to
Yeah.
continue.
Well, look, at least we're closer to the end than we are to the start.
Exactly.
So we'll move on to the last couple of questions. So if you could see any performer from history in concert for one night only, who would it be?
Freddie King. Just said he's my idol. So definitely it would be Freddie King. Um, Actually, if I could just see all the blues men, if I could see Muddy Waters, Howlin' Wolf, all those guys, wow, that would just blow my mind.
Yeah, yeah. So your dream concert then is a classic blues festival, so to speak.
Oh yeah, that would be no. Then I could die happy. That would be amazing. Truly amazing.
And if you could spend 24 hours in a room with any musician from history, who would it be?
Okay, well, I've already said the blues guys. I would say everyone's going to roll their eyes at me, but I would honestly say Gerard Way. He was obviously lead singer of My Chemical Romance, and then he moved on into the comic book world and wrote Umbrella Academy and all of that. And I just see him as such a complete creative, I guess I really like people who are complete creatives, in more than one aspect, just to pick those kind of people's brains and just, what is your process? How do you get so creative? How do you think these things that no one else would think? That's someone that I'd really like to spend 24 hours with to learn from.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a really good one. That's someone I've never actually heard mentioned on the podcast before. And
well, everyone rolls their eyes when you mention if you mention My Chem and all of that, but no, definitely him. Sorry, you were saying.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say I've actually seen My Chemical Romance in concert, and it's actually up there with some of the best concerts I've been to. They used to put on one hell of a show,
Which tour did you see, or which album were they promoting?
It was the the one that was all futuristic, and it was Planetary Goal.
Yes. That was the Fabulous Killjoys. Oh, yes. Awesome. Oh, yes. Wow. Oh, cool. I saw them do Black Parade live. So
oh man, really?
Yeah. So no, I mean, I'm a performer, and Gerard is most certainly a performer, or at least he was. So definitely I'd love to pick his brain.
Yeah. I love how they incorporate a theatrical aspect into their shows as well,
Oh, it's awesome. It's so awesome. It's really cool. They always said that they were inspired heavily by Iron Maiden. And so when I was younger, I'd listen to Iron Maiden to figure out and I never got it musically, but then Iron Maiden came to South Africa and I got to watch them live. Now that is a theatrical show. Oh my gosh, he was busy fighting with this gigantic puppet and these sets that just suddenly came and were taken down and everything. I felt like I was watching a musical. That I definitely, I'm okay, I get where your inspiration came from now. That was amazing.
Yeah. I feel like with them it'd be almost 80% theatrics and 20% music.
Yes. Unbelievable.
But I know the listeners are probably sick of me saying it, but I always say it. For me, when I go to a show, the theatrics is so important. The stage show, it's all about the entertainment factor. I prefer that over someone just walking out with an acoustic guitar, standing there singing their songs and saying goodbye,
I think you got to come to one of my shows, man. That's me. I completely agree with you. There is something to be said about watching someone who's super technical, who can do these amazing things. That's great and that's wonderful. But for me, I'm you're on a stage, put on a bit of a show. Do a little something. You've got to do it, and it tells the story of the song a bit more. Again, to serve the music, I definitely love theatrical performers way more than someone just strumming on a guitar.
Yeah. Definitely. So if there was a song that could appear on the soundtrack to your life, what would it be?
Oh gosh. Oh wow. Never thought of that. You've stumped me there. Wow.
It's a bit of a tough one just to spring on you, I know.
Wow, that's hectic. I guess, I know now, I guess because we mentioned My Chem, I guess their song Famous Last Words is definitely something that I've referred back to a number of times. I'm not afraid to keep on going. I'm not afraid to face this world alone. It's definitely lyrics that I've clung to at tough times, to force myself to keep on moving on.
Good choice. I know the song well. And finally, what do you like to do when you're not doing music?
I love to power up my Xbox and play some Assassin's Creed or something like that, pour myself a nice big bourbon, and I'm a very happy girl.
Been shot down for the 100th time. I'm done being led astray. You let me down, I'm on the ground while you walk away. So bring a knife to this gunfight, I'll show you how to play. When I'm not done, I get up again, and I always say, throw me to the wolves, throw me to the wolves, throw me to the wolves. I return leading the pack. Throw me to the wolves, throw me to the wolves, throw me to the wolves. I return leading the pack. Can't get no honey, can't get no country, nobody wants to love me. I roam the earth all on my own, I do things my own way. So feed me lies, don't waste my time, so come back if you go. Baby, I've heard it all before, and there's one thing I know. Throw me to the wolves, throw me to the wolves, throw me to the wolves, I return leading the pack. Throw me to the wolves, throw me to the wolves, throw me to the wolves, I return leading the pack.
Hello everyone, I am Matthew Thomas, the spirit of Super Cool Radio, and if you're looking for a great podcast that features the best independent and up-and-coming bands and artists, then check out my podcast, Super Cool Radio. Each week I deliver fun interviews, and every Friday I spin some killer music. You might not know some of these bands that I feature, but I guarantee you will love them. Check out Super Cool Radio on YouTube, Rumble, Anchor, Spotify, iTunes, or the streaming platform of your choice. Tune in and rock out!
Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, rate and review us on iTunes. Really helps the show grow. You can find us on social media at Concerts That Made Us Podcast, and be sure to check out our website at www.concertsthatmadeus.com. And if you'd like to support the show, you can do so by signing up at patreon.com/Concerts That Made Us. We've got 3 tiers available. If that's something you're interested in, you'll get access to a private Discord, exclusive uncut video versions of the podcast, early access to ad-free versions of the episodes, and much, much more. So, until next time, keep rocking.
Hey, what are you guys still doing here? The show's over. It's over. You can go home. Go on. We'll see you next time. We'll be here. Bye.